So my name is Pranabendu, and I'll be talking about travel planning using graphs. So graphs are something that I basically work on, and what I do is I design algorithms, in my research. So this would be like a so this would be like a small introduction to know the kind of stuff that I do. So I don't know the policy here exactly, but I mean my talks essentially you can interrupt me anytime. You can unmute and just ask your questions directly. Okay, like it's just better that way. So whenever something is not clear to you, or you have a question or a comment or something, just unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, so it like I prefer to have things more interactive than me delivering a monologue or something, right? Okay, so as I said, so I'm going to talk about travel planning with graphs. So let's imagine like a typical scenario. So you have been invited to a birthday party, right? So maybe you have a friend called Arun who is having a birthday party, and you have been invited, and so have been other friends of Arun. So all these people, they have to get to Arun's house from their own houses, right? So you too also you also have to go to Arun's house. So the question is, how do you go from your house to Arun's house? You know, like normally, I mean, you'd set out from your house and some directions, and you'll drive or you take an auto or something, and then basically you want to reach your friend's house as quickly as possible, right? So normally, whenever we want to travel, we want to reach there as quickly as possible. So how do you do this, right? So the best way to reach quickly as possible is to find the best way to get there, so that the time taken is minimum, right? So let's imagine that this is a map of your city or town, right? So your house is there on the left, and Arun's house is there on the right. So you have to go from your house to Arun's house as quickly as possible, right? So can someone tell me how you do it? Yeah, you can just speak. You don't
Sir,
have to. Yeah, just speak directly.
sir, we have to go to the train station
You will go to the train station. Okay. So
and then
you go to the train station. Okay.
to the market
Let me try to mark out what you're saying. Okay. So you go to a train station, then you go to the market. Okay. Then,
and then to the park
right.
and then to Orange.
Okay. So why did you choose this path? How did you choose this path?
Because from first our house there are two routes, 6 minutes and 20 minutes. In that the lower the less time taking is 6 minutes, so I chose that path. And then after that, to the station, from station there are three routes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. 5 minutes is lower in time, so I chose the path. And after that, market, from market to Arun's house, 5 minutes, but from market to park is lesser time, so I chose the path. And from park to Arun's house, 2 minutes.
Right. But so how do you know this is the fastest route, right? So do you think there is a even faster way of going there?
Uh, I don't think so.
Okay. So how would you argue this?
Because if you add all the total time taken by us now, there will be 11 plus 5, 11 plus 4, 15 minutes. But from our house to temple, there will be, for itself, it is taking 20 minutes, which is much larger than 14 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So essentially, you are arguing that in this particular map, I can look at the times that are available that are written down, and then I can compare, what is the best thing to do at each step. And roughly, maybe somehow you're able to argue this route that you've highlighted, that is the best one to take, right? Okay, so somebody else has also raised a hand. So please speak up.
I chose this path is, first of all, like, it is the shortest. Okay, so in the first scenario, in the first case, we have
Mhm.
either we can go to the train station, which is 6 minutes, and the temple, which will take 20 minutes, which takes way too much time, and not even for a long distance. And even if I
Okay.
had to go there for some reason, I can just use the train station and go to the temple, and it will be only 16 minutes. So I can rule that option definitely for sure. Okay, so now I'm in the
Okay.
train station, and what do I do? First of all, going back to the temple makes no sense. First of all, I'm not even closer to Arun's house, and going to the market makes no sense because it will come more closer to Arun's house. Okay, but
Mhm.
there is one more route where we can go to Arun's house, is through the direct way from the train station to the park. Now, if we go from the train station to the park via the market, like if we go from the train station to the market and the market to the park, we will take only 7 minutes. While when we go from train station to the park, it will take 15 minutes. So I would
Right.
rather go to the train station to the market and then to the park, and then
Mhm.
directly I can go to the to Arun's house. Now, one more option is if I go to the market and directly go to Arun's house, but that will take 5 minutes. While going to the park and then going to Arun's house will only take four. So it will save me 1 minute.
Okay. Okay. So that is a, let me just say, that is a lot of arguments to, conclude that this is the shortest path, right? So did everyone else get it, that this is the shortest, fastest way to go from your house to Arun's house?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. It is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
So just to show you, I had drawn, two paths. One of this was this, which would have taken me what, 16 minutes. But as you guys correctly found out, that it is best to take this, which takes 15 minutes, right? Okay. So just to understand what is happening, right? So this time you don't want to go to Arun's house, but let's say you want to go to your school, right? So you want to go from your house to school. So what is the fastest way of going there? Yeah, anyone who is raising a hand, you can just directly unmute and speak.
Then from your house you will go to the train station.
Okay.
From there you will go to the temple.
Okay, wait. Let me just draw what you're saying, just so that everyone can see. So you go from your house to train station. Okay. Then,
Then you go to the temple,
okay, you're saying we should go to the temple. Okay.
and then you go to the school.
Okay. So how much time have you taken?
Uh, 20 minutes.
Okay. So do you think this is the fastest way?
Sir, there's
Sir, there is a
there's
faster
one more
way.
way.
There's one more.
We can go from our house to the train station. From the train station to the market.
So wait. Let me draw, no, what you're saying, so that everyone can see. So you go from your house to train station.
House to the train station. From the train
Okay.
to the market and then to the school.
Train station to market.
Market. Yes. And then to the school. That'll take
Okay.
one more
Train
minute
station
less
to
than what
market.
he
Wait.
said.
Okay. Now what? From market to school?
Yes. Yes, sir. That'll
No,
take
sir,
one
there
more
is a
minute
shorter
less
way,
than
sir.
what he said. Yes, sir.
Okay, so somebody
From
said
the market to the
school. So let me just
hospital,
draw
then
it.
to the school.
Right. So somebody said market
Yeah,
to
sir.
school. Let me draw it. And what is the time taken here?
Sir, it will take 19 minutes.
19 minutes.
Okay. So this is 1 minute.
There is a shorter route.
But sir,
Okay.
There is a
route, sir.
shorter route.
What is the shorter route?
Sir,
From the house to the train station.
Sir, the shortest route is from
Market to
the
hospital.
market to the
School.
hospital.
Okay.
Hospital
Hospital
to
to
school.
school.
Hospital.
Okay. How much time have you taken?
19.
sir, it's 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
17.
Okay. So do you think is there any other faster way?
No, sir.
There is no faster route?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How?
We will from your house we will go to train station, then to market, then temple,
Okay.
then to school.
So how much time would you take if you did that? Let me draw what you said.
Take 20 minutes.
Take 20 again.
Okay. So, but we had the previous route was what? 17 minutes, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That was faster, right? So, okay. So many other people have raised their hands. So please unmute and speak. So there are also some comments in the chat, maybe. I'm not. Okay. So hopefully everyone is more or less convinced that if you want to go from your house to school, then the fastest route is the one drawn here, and that takes 17 minutes, right? Is anyone not convinced? Or do you have a faster way of going to school from your house?
No.
Okay, so we don't know for sure, but it seems like that 17 minutes is how much time it is going to take. So what about suppose that Arun wanted to go to school, how much time would it take him?
So 10 minutes.
But the minimum possibility is 10 minutes. You can go to
10
a very
minutes.
15 minutes, but
You can go from the house to hospital, then to school.
So you can go from house to, you're saying house to hospital, and then hospital to school.
Then to school. Yes, sir. 10 minutes.
7 minutes, and the third possibility is 10 minutes. So 10 minutes is the best.
Yes, sir. 10
10
minutes.
minutes is the best. Okay.
One thing
Sir,
can
I
be
have
can go
another
to the
way to
park,
get 10 minutes.
to the market to the hospital, and hospital to the school. That will also be 10 minutes.
Sorry, can you repeat what you're saying?
From Arun from his house he will go to the park. From park he will go to the market.
Okay, let me try to draw. So you from Arun's house, you will go to park,
Yes.
and then park, you will go
To
to
the
market,
market. Then from
okay,
market the hospital.
hospital,
Then to the school.
then to the
It
school. How
will be
much time?
also 10. It will be also 10. But there's I found two routes. The first one and this one.
Okay. So there can be two ways which are very different, but they are they take the same amount of time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as you can see, like if you want to find a path from one place to another place, you want to figure out the best way to go from one place to another place. It is a fairly interesting problem, right? So this example of a map that I've drawn, like even here there are multiple choices, and you have to like examine a lot of different ways of going from one place to another, and then you try to come up with like hopefully you come to a interesting way of doing this, right? Like maybe the fastest way somehow. So we have drawn a couple of paths, like going from your house to Arun's house, or going from your house to school, or Arun's house to school, and we came up with some of these routes which we believe to be the fastest way of going there, right? So yeah, so let me just now show you another basically map, right? So here you want to go from this place A to this place B, and there are intermediate ways of going from like A to B. Like you can go to D, you can go to C, then you can go to E or F, and then eventually you'll reach B, right? So what is the fastest way of going from A to B here? So everyone understands the question, right? So somebody wrote in chat, can you unmute and speak up if possible?
Yes, sir. Sir, from A, you can go to D.
Okay, let me just draw what you're saying. So from A, you will go to D.
Yes.
Okay.
And to E
Then you'll go to E. Okay.
and F
You'll go to F
and B.
and to B. So how much time have you taken?
Sir, 24.
20 minutes. Sir.
Sir, 24.
Can I tell? I have one more.
Okay. So this takes
Sir.
24.
Sir, I have a less time. Can I have a less one?
From A to C.
I also have one. Sir,
And then from
Okay. Okay. Wait. Wait.
F.
sir,
Sir,
can I?
can you
Sorry.
say
Sorry.
that?
Can you start
Sir,
again?
A
I
to,
would. I
Sir,
wasn't
A
wrong.
to D. From
A to
D.
D.
To C.
A to C. Then to C.
D to C.
C.
C to F.
to F and F
F.
C to F and F to B.
to B.
Okay. And how much time have you?
23 minutes.
23 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So is there a better way or is this the fastest one?
This may be
The
the better.
fastest.
Are you like, how can you be sure that this is the fastest?
Other routes are taking
Not-
24 to 25 minutes.
Not sure.
Right. So, but there are many routes, right? You can go this way, that way, so many routes. So you found one route which is 23 minutes. Now, how do you know there isn't one with 22 minutes? So there are some new people, I think, joining. So for
Sir,
them,
if you go from A to D,
mhm,
then to C. No, sorry.
okay.
Wait.
Maybe I should draw what you're saying. So A to D, then
I'm
D to F.
calculating once again, please.
Okay. Okay, so
Then
while
you go
I'll
to
just
E.
get some water. 1 second. Huh? So why don't you take 5 minutes to think? I'll just.
There is no faster way, I think, sir.
So anyone has 22 minutes or faster? Any guesses if 23 minutes is the best or not?
May be the best, sir.
Okay. So the question is, yeah, I also think that 23 minutes is the best. Now the question is, what would be a way of showing that 23 minutes is the best here? Right? Because that's what we want to say, right? So one way is that maybe you try to see all possible ways of going from A to B, right? Then for each path, you find out how much time it takes, and then out of all of those, you find the one with the smallest time taken. So suppose I did that. Do you think it will work?
Sometimes, but sometimes it will not.
Why will it not work sometimes?
Because there may be a shorter way for the longer path.
Correct. So I am going to find out every way, all the possible ways of going from A to B, right?
Yes, sir.
So what are possible ways of going from A to B here in this graph? Can we make a small list here? So from A, I can go to either C or D, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's say I can go from A, and let's say I go to C, right? Then where can I go?
We can go to either D, E, or F.
Okay, so maybe I go to E, right?
From
Yes.
E, we can either go to
B
F or B.
directly.
Or you can go to F,
Yes, F or B directly.
right? So either you go to B directly, or maybe you go to F, right? Or and then you go to B, right? So this is one way of going from
Go to E to F
B.
to B.
Sorry.
So going from E to F to B.
E to F to B, yes. So this you go from A to C to E to F to B, right? This is one way of going from A to B.
Yes, sir.
And how much time does it take if we go this way? So you have to add up the numbers, no? From to C, it takes 15 minutes.
28.
Okay, so somebody said 28, I believe you. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, 28.
Okay, good. So if you go this way, it will take 28 minutes, right? And then we had this best suggestion, which was what? It was A to D, I think, right? Then
Or A to D, D to
yeah,
C, and C to F, then
B
B.
to C, F and B. F and then B.
right. And this took 23
Because
minutes.
23 minutes. Yes.
We always have to start with A and D, because going from A to C is no use if going from A to D and then to C is faster.
Acha, so suppose that,
Whatever the reason
suppose
is,
that,
fastest will have to include A and A to D first. And just in case we need to go to C,
Yes.
we can always go from A to D to C.
okay, so suppose that A to C is 9 minutes, then what happens?
Then so then we'll go from A to C and then from C
A
to
to C and F and
C to F and F to B.
Yes.
Okay, so how much time would this take?
9,
18.
so
18 minutes. 18 minutes.
18.
minutes.
Correct.
Just a
So
short
if
break.
this was, if A to C took 9 minutes, then the fastest route is A to C to F to B. If A to C took, how much was it? 13 minutes before, no? Or no, 15 minutes only.
It is 15.
15 minutes,
80.
then it is better to go A to D to C to F to B, right?
Yes.
Sir,
Yeah. So depending on how much time it takes, for example, if there is too much traffic on one road, then you naturally have to take a different road, right?
Yes.
See, the only issue is that there are lots of possibilities. Like from A, I can go to 2 different places. From D, I can go to 2 different places. From C, I can go to 3 different places, right? From E, I can go to 3 different places, and so on. So every time you go from one place to another, like you have multiple, you have choices to make, and there are many choices, right? So if you try to make a list of all possible ways to go from A to B, and then for each of these possible ways, you find out how much time it takes for this particular way, right? So then you make this list of all possible ways to go from A to B, and then for each of them, you have how much time it takes. And then you search and find out which is the shortest time in this list, right? So do you think this will give you the fastest way to go from A to B if we do this?
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because why would it give you the fastest way? Because you have made a list of all possible ways to go from A to B, right? And out of this all possible ways from A to B, you have selected the smallest one with the smallest time taken, right? So this is the reason that if you make this like exhaustive list of all possibilities and then find the
Sir, but what if it's a very big route and it will take a lot of time to make a list of all of it? Like,
correct. That is a very good point. That is the point I was
then
coming to,
we
right?
just like start eliminating certain routes which is completely unnecessary.
Correct. But how do you eliminate some routes which are not necessary?
Open from A to C, we can eliminate like that.
Can you, like, how do you eliminate it? Like if it is 15 minutes, then maybe you can eliminate, right? But
Yes,
if it is,
yes, sir.
but
I want
suppose it is 15 minutes, no, but let's say from, I made a mistake, sorry. Let's say it is 15 minutes here, but like A to C is 15 minutes, but C to F is 2 minutes and F to B is 1 minute. Then can you eliminate it?
still, instead of going from A to C 15 minutes, you can go from A to D to C. That's what I'm trying to say. Wherever, it doesn't matter wherever in C. It,
I see. Okay, you are right. If it is 15 minutes, you are right. So now let's say it is 13 minutes then.
so then it depends on the situation. It depends on the situation. It means if you have to go to the upper route, then go. But if you have to go to the downer route, then you have to go from A to C is better.
Mhm. Right. So it depends on the situation. You are right. So even if the map is the same, like the amount of time taken to go from one point to another, that changes, right? And then depending on that, the route you have to take also changes. And as you were saying, I think correctly, that there could be lots of possibilities. It will take a lot of time, right? So if you make a full list of all possible ways to go from A to B, then that will take so much time to make that list and then find the shortest one, that it's probably better to just not do this list at all, right? It's better to just drive, like instead of trying to find the best route, just drive any way you like and just somehow go from A to B, right? Okay. So now the question is, what would be, a faster way? What would be a more clever way of finding the best way to go from A to B, right? And it should work in, any situation, like whatever, how much, no matter how much time it takes for any two pairs, it should always work. You give me the times, right, that it is required to go from one point to another. You give me this, and then using this information, I will just find out the best way to go from A to B and quickly, right? Not by making a full list of all possibilities.
So I
So let's
think
see how that can be done. Okay.
maybe we can do backtracking from B, like find the best route. You can go one step back from B and one step forward from A, and you can just mix and match because it's really less.
Okay, but you're backtracking from B to A, right?
Not to A, just one step, so you get a bit closer.
You will get a bit closer, correct? But then, like from A, you have to reach like one step, like you're trying to find a path from A to B, but then you're saying maybe from B I go one step backwards, then from A I have to go a little less, right? But if you add up both of these things, then you're still finding a path from A to B, right?
Yeah, and I was saying then you go one step forward from A the best you can, and then it'll be much easier to just find a short route from there.
But I'm okay. So that's a nice idea. But don't you think it's the same as finding a path from A to B? Like the same, like it is exactly the same as going from A all the way to B?
It is that, but then you have lots of more possibilities from A to B than from one step back from B and one step forward from A.
Okay, okay. So that is a nice idea. You should try it out and see if you can actually, save some, like if you can actually find the best route faster using your idea. To me, it seems like it is the same as trying to test all possible ways to go from A to B. Okay. But now let me tell you a different way of finding the best way from A to B. Okay. So imagine that a fire starts at A. Okay. Now let's imagine how this fire will spread from A to B. So fire starts at A, like, so fire has just started. Now the fire will gradually burn and it will spread along, these paths that you have from A towards C and D, right? So after 8 minutes, okay, the fire will reach D, right?
Sir, and it will reach like a little more than halfway on the road from A to C.
That is also correct. It will also reach somewhat halfway from A to C and will completely reach D, right?
But sir,
Yeah.
Fire can spread through always, no, sir.
Yes. So fire started at A, right?
Yes, sir.
And then slowly time is progressing. Like after 1 minute, fire would have spread a little in this direction, a little in this direction, right? After another minute, it moves a little in this direction, little in this direction, and so on,
Yeah, sir.
right? So this is how the fire will spread, no? Every minute, it will grow a little bit more.
So we need to find which when the fire comes at point B, then which route does it follow?
Yeah,
Okay.
we will find out the route. Yes, we will find out the route. But for now, let's imagine this, the fire is started at A and it's spreading through these connections that you have, the roads that you have between A and its, neighbors.
So sir,
Hmm.
this is Kashyap sir. So
Yeah.
fire can go to C, right?
Right.
So fire can go to C,
Mhm.
and then fire from C it can go to three places, right? E,
Yes.
D, and F, right?
Correct.
So fire goes to D. From A it goes to D, and then from A it goes to C, and C goes to D.
Right.
Then that would make a different kind of pattern, right? So then it'll all be like just as in A, right?
Correct. So we will see the pattern. No, I will show you the pattern. Okay. But for now, I'm just asking you to imagine that there is a fire at A, and then after 1 minute, the fire has spread a little bit along these two paths, right? After 2 minutes, it has spread a little bit more. After 3 minutes, it spread a little bit more. And after 8 minutes, the fire has reached D, right?
So we're trying to identify what path it has taken to reach B.
We will identify the path also, but for now, let's just imagine, let's just try to understand, how the fire is spreading. Okay. So all I want to find out is, at what time, like D catches fire and C catches fire and E catches fire and F catches fire.
Okay.
So at least you can see that after 8 minutes, D will catch fire, right?
Yes, I can see that.
Right. This should be clear to you, no?
Yes, sir. Right.
Is anyone not, is anyone confused or not convinced that after 8 minutes, D will be on fire?
No, sir, because it clearly states in the image that after 8 minutes, there's an 8 also next to D. So
Correct.
that means A goes to D, right?
Right. And the fire has also spread, as someone said, halfway along the path from A to C, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is after 8 minutes, right? So let's say another 6 minutes passes, right? Then what happens?
So when fire goes way to. Okay, sorry.
Okay, yeah, one of you can speak and then the next person can speak. Yeah, so what
Sir?
happens? Yeah.
Sir, after 14 minutes, so
Mhm.
it after 8 minutes, it spread fully through D, sir.
Yeah.
So 14
Then
minutes is addition of 6 minutes, sir.
correct.
So it will spread through C and it will almost spread through E.
Yes, right. So does everyone understand this? It is clear to everyone, or is someone not convinced or confused?
I'm clear, sir.
Yeah, everyone is convinced, right? That after 14 minutes, the fire has first spread from A to D in 8 minutes. And then in another 6 minutes, the fire has spread from D to C, right? So C catches fire at 14 minutes. And if you look at the path from A to C, the direct path, the fire is still coming in that direction. It still has not reached C via that path, right? So here, this fire is still not, it has not reached C. It still has some distance to cover. Similarly, from the path from D to E, the fire is still not reached E yet. It still needs 1 more minute. Yeah. So 1 minute later, the fire has reached E, right? So at 15 minutes, E is on fire, right? So what else has happened at 15 minutes?
So, sir, 1 second.
Hmm.
So, if we're following a pattern that A to D, D to E, and E to B, shortest possible route except A to C, C to F, F to B, that means from A to B it's taking 8 minutes, and to 15 it'll take, so instead of 8 minutes it'll take 7 minutes, and the pattern is decreasing of 1. So then it will probably reach A to B if it follows D, E, and B in 21 minutes, sir.
Is it 21 minutes?
Yes, sir.
So so you want to go from A to D, then D
Yeah.
to E. Okay, and then from E where?
To B.
So how much time does it take to go from E to B?
So the pattern we have identified is from A to this one, it is taking 8 minutes. And to D to E, it will take 7 minutes. So the
total
pattern is
15
decreasing
minutes.
by 1. The amount of time it takes is decreasing by 1.
No, it is not decreasing by 1. It is taking 7 minutes because the distance between D and E, it takes 7 minutes.
Oh, that is
Yes. The fire is not going faster. It is traveling at the same speed.
I see.
Right?
But the distance is shorter.
Yeah. The distance
D
between
to
D
E
and E
distance is smaller.
Correct. Right? So the fire started at A, then it spread to D in 8 minutes. Then from D, it spread to C in 6 minutes, right? So 14 minutes in total. Then it spread from D to E in 1 more minute, right? So E is on fire at 15 minutes. But look at C, right? C was on fire at 14 minutes. So fire spread from C towards F and towards E, like a little bit in both directions, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can see that it has spread a little bit towards E and a little bit towards F, right? So then, what happens next, right? As the fire continues to spread. After 2 more minutes, right?
Goes to E first.
After 2 more minutes, the path between C and E, it is completely on fire. Why is that?
So because
Because
yeah,
C to E 4, sir, but in C to F it's 5 minutes, sir.
C
Sir,
to
can you show the
E-
last one, sir?
Can I? Okay, this one.
Yeah, sir. Because C to E is 4 minutes, sir. From C, it has completed 1 minute. After 1 minute, it has started spreading a little bit, sir, to E.
Okay.
So after 2 minutes, from E to C also it will spread, sir.
Correct. So the fire is spreading, from E in this direction, and it is spreading
from
C
C
direction.
Yeah, sir.
So therefore, since the fire is spreading from both sides, in 2 minutes, this entire path will be covered. Actually, less than 2 minutes, but yeah.
Yes, sir.
A little less than yeah.
So could you 1 second go to the next one?
Okay.
Yeah. So here we can see that. So you asked the question earlier that C to E wide spread completely, but not C to F, right? So I think the reason is because C to E it only takes 4 minutes to spread, right?
Right.
But C to F it takes 5 minutes to spread, right? So here we can see that 4 minutes has already been just a visual thing. I think how much I could make out. This is kind of 4/5 of the die from C to F. I have not done it. It's an estimation. So because 4 minutes has already been covered, that means it has already expanded to C to from C to E. And it is
let's imagine
including from E to C also. So it's not completely covered. C to E along with E to C from both directions the fire was coming. So that's why it finished off clearing 1 minute early.
Yeah, that
Correct.
could also be
So-
that
so-
could also be a possible one.
Okay. So let me just change this to 4. Okay. Suppose that going from C to E takes 4 minutes and C to F also takes 4 minutes. Then what do you think will happen?
Yes, sir. I think the other boy's thing was correct, sir, because 4
Yes.
minutes if we take completely.
So do you think this picture is correct? If both of these are 4,
Yes, sir.
can you explain why?
Because from E and C also it is like the fire is coming. So in 2 minutes itself it will get covered or less than 2 minutes. So half of the F from C to F, half should be covered. Sir.
Correct. So the point is that fire is spreading from C towards E in this direction and E towards C in this direction, right? Fire is coming from both directions. That's why the fire is spreading at double the speed, right? And it is covering this thing in 2 minutes. Even though the total time is 4 minutes, it's covering it in actually less than 2 minutes, right? But here the fire is coming only in one direction. So it does
Like a
not
ray.
fully reach. Sorry?
Like a ray, it's only going in one direction.
Correct. Yes.
So
But
that means what I. Yeah, sir. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You speak and then I'll speak.
No, sir. Actually, you should speak, sir.
Okay. So I was just saying that I changed the number from 5 to 4 earlier because I was just trying to explain this point. But let's go back to 5, okay? Because that was the number we put originally. And after 17 minutes, this is the situation, right? The fire has spread like this, right? And the fire was also at E, right? And it was spreading from E in along all paths, right? Towards F, towards B, everywhere, right? So it has completely covered this edge, right? This connection between C and F, this path between C and E. It has spread a little bit from C towards F, and a little bit from E towards F, and a little bit from E towards B, right? So next, what will happen? The fire will spread some more, actually 2 more minutes, and it will reach F, right? So at 19 minutes, the fire has reached F from C, right? The fire had reached C at 14 minutes, then it is a 5-minute path to go from C to F. So fire reaches F at 19 minutes. Right? The fire reaches E at 15 minutes, but then it takes 5 minutes to go from E to F. Right? So the fire still has not fully reached F from E. Right? There is still some part of it left to cover.
Maybe it needs 1 or 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, it needs 1 more minute actually, no?
Yes, sir.
Because the fire was at C at 14 minutes and then the fire reached E at 15 minutes. But by then the fire had also spread 1 minute along this direction, no? So it only had 4 more minutes to cover. Whereas the fire starting from E has full 5 minutes to cover. And it can only cover 4 minutes because up from 15 minutes to 19 minutes, it's 4 minutes. Right? So some portion is still not on fire here. So at 19 minutes, this is the situation of the the spread of fire. So does anyone? So is there any question about what is happening here? Like,
Yeah, sir. I have like a small doubt, sir. So from F to B,
right?
It'll take 4 minutes,
Yes.
and from E to B, it'll take 10 minutes.
Correct.
And E is already halfway there.
Correct.
So
it
it'll
is
take
not
another 5.
halfway. It is it's probably less than halfway, right? Right, because the fire reaches E at 15 minutes, no? And now it is 19 minutes. So this is 4 minutes.
I see. So then another 6 minutes it needs to cover.
Yes. So if the fire was coming from E to B, then it needs another 6 minutes.
So as a result, for the fire to cover all the points for this one, for E to F, it needs to take another 1 minute because only 4 minutes is gone. 1 more minute and it'll expand to F. And F to B and E to B. So again here only E to B is only 4 minutes done, and F to B is nothing started at all. So
Correct.
for fire to reach all points, it will take another 9 minutes, right?
Why would it take 9 minutes?
So because see, E to B, it will take another 6 minutes, right?
E to
Oh
it
wait,
will take
that's
another
my
6.
miscalculation. I'm very sorry. It will not take 9 minutes, it will take 11 more minutes.
Why?
See, because E to B is already covered 4 minutes of the distance, and to reach B, it need to take another 6 minutes.
Okay. So this is 6 minutes, and then why 11 minutes?
Because then another 4 minutes we need to take for F to B, and 1 minute from E to F.
But think of it this way, no? The fire is spreading from E to B, right? But the fire can also at the same time spread from F towards B also.
Oh, so that
Yeah,
means
sir.
so then
Fire
we
does
can
not
just
need to
take the
be.
longest distance. We can just take the longest distance out of all of them, which is the 6
It will
minutes
take-
from E to B.
It will take
So
10
another
minutes,
6
I think.
minutes. So
Sorry?
it takes 25 minutes to reach from A to B.
Why is it 25?
Sir, it will take 10
In total,
minutes.
in
I
total.
think it will
Total?
take 11.
Yeah.
Are you
Sir,
sure?
I have a doubt.
Okay.
Sir, I have
Go
a doubt.
Go ahead.
No, sir. From A to B, it will take 25 minutes. It will take another 6 minutes for all the points to be set on fire, and in total, it will take 25 minutes.
Sir, it takes 5 minutes, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
So we'll not
Sir,
count the distance
since-
from
Sir, it
the
takes only
F
5
and
minutes,
B.
sir.
One at a time, please. Okay.
sir,
Yeah. You go ahead.
since E to B has completed 4 minutes, sir,
Mm-hmm.
6 minutes is remaining, sir.
Okay. 6 minutes remains.
And-
Correct.
And F to B, it will take 4 minutes.
F
E
to
to
B
F,
will
it
take
has
1 minute.
1 minute remaining, sir.
Correct.
By the time the E reaches F, sir,
Okay.
by 1 minute, F will already start spreading through B, sir.
F will already start spreading towards B. Fire will already start spreading towards B from F. Correct. Yes.
So it will take 10 minutes, I think, sir, to
See,
complete.
fire is spreading in parallel everywhere. No, fire is spreading from E towards B. Fire is spreading from E towards F. Fire is spreading from F towards B. It's all going on at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Right. So then, how much time do you think it will take for the fire to reach B?
Totally, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir,
Okay. The next question. Yes. Go ahead.
sir, it takes only 6 minutes, sir, because from E to B, so E has already went by 4 minutes, so it take another 6 minutes. So by the time the fire and E goes towards B, the rest of the points will already be covered. Because rest of them each
Okay.
only 1 minute and 4 minutes respectively.
Okay. So somebody like you have claimed that the fire will take another 6 minutes to reach B. Is it?
Sir, it will take yes, sir. And to cover all the points.
Yes,
Sir, it will
sir.
take 5 minutes,
I want
sir.
to say that only. That it will take 4 minutes. That I think so.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at the next slide and see what is the correct answer. So this is after 20 minutes. So like this was after 19 minutes, and after 20 minutes, the fire has reached, like covered all the path from between E and F. Okay. And it has also spread a little bit in the direction from F towards B and some more in the direction from E towards B.
Yes, sir.
So now this is earlier, what was it? It was 4 minutes. So now it will be like this has covered 5
5
minutes.
minutes.
And here it has covered 1 minute. Right. So what do you think happens next?
Sir, it will
Sir,
take 4 more
it
minutes.
will happen next that the fire will reach from F to B in 3 minutes and from E to B in 5 minutes.
Right. So in another 3 minutes, the fire will go from F to B. Right.
Yes, sir.
And the fire spreading from E to B, it is still a little away. Right.
Yes, sir. It will take 2 minutes more.
Yes. So 2 minutes more remain.
Yes, sir.
But
Sir,
what did
actually,
we want to know? Sorry, somebody had a comment. Go ahead.
actually, in the before slide and the before slide,
Okay, let me go to before slide. Yes.
another before slide.
Another before slide.
Yeah, in this slide,
Uh-huh.
4 minutes is covered. So 1 more minute to go to F from E to F. 1 more
Uh-huh.
minute, so that we can count it as 1 minute. And then from E to B, when it's crossing 5 more minutes is over.
Uh-huh.
So that will become a 5 minutes. And then
Okay.
from F to B, it will take 4 minutes more, right, sir?
Yes.
So if it is taking 4 minutes, 4 minutes for E to be in the middle. So 9
Mhm.
minutes it must have covered. So 1 more minute for E and B to reach. Am I right, sir?
Okay.
I think that it will not, the fire will spread continually, not stop here at the F point. When the fire from the E to F will come in the 1 minute, the fire from F to B will move 1 minute.
Correct. Correct. That is the point. No, if fire moves for 1 minute in this direction, in the same minute, fire will move in this direction and also in this direction.
Okay, sir.
Right. So you are adding up saying, okay, so you are saying this is 6 minutes, then this is 4 minutes, and then this is 1 minute. So you are adding them up and you're saying 11 minutes. Right. But fire is not, spreading only one step at a time. It is spreading in 3 directions.
Okay, sir.
So it is happening in parallel, right? At the same time, fire is going in this direction, this direction, this direction.
So 3 directions, 1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next thing is that we just saw that at 23 minutes the fire will reach B. Right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Sir, I have to leave. I have to do something right now. Sorry, sir.
Sure. Okay. No
Bye,
problem.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Sir, we
Yeah.
can, sir, like after we got the solution, like
Mhm.
when somebody sees this flame diagram, they can't exactly in just quickly find out which part leads to the end. They just know that it should go to F and then go to B.
Right.
So we can remove all the thing like from E. When the flame went from E to F, the point F was reached before the flame went from E to F. So we can remove that line. And before the flame went from E to B, the flame already from another direction went to B. Likewise, when the flame went to A to C, and another direction came before. So we can remove AC, CE, CF, and CB, and then you'll clearly see that A to D to C to F to B is the only solution.
So
Yes.
when we go from A to D, D to E, and E to B, it takes totally 25 minutes.
Correct.
And if we go from A to C, C to F, and F to B, it will take less time. Therefore, the fire reached at B in less time than A to B from the D route.
Okay. So if the fire, yeah, you are correct. If the fire goes directly from A to C, then C to F, and then directly from F to B, it takes 24 minutes. If you go from A to D, D to E, and E to B, then it takes 25 minutes. Right? But there is another path the fire can take and reach in 23 minutes.
Yes, sir. That part is A to C, C to F, and from F to B.
How much time will it take if you add up?
Sir, if we add 15 to 5, it will take 24 minutes. Sir.
Okay. So let me show you a 23-minute path. Okay.
Okay.
So from A to D, you go in 8 minutes, right? A to D. And from D,
Yes,
you
sir.
go to C in 6 minutes. So 14 minutes.
Yes.
Then from C to F, you go in 5 more minutes, 19 minutes.
Yes.
And F to B, you go in 4 more minutes, 23 minutes.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so previously when we were trying to, find the fastest way to go from A to B, you guys came up with the solution, right? You showed that this is a 23-minute path, right?
Yes, sir. We forgot it.
Yes, that's okay. But so the point is, let me highlight this path, no, so that we can all remember. We go like this, right? This is the path that the fire will take to reach from A to B in 23 minutes, right? And fire is spreading in all direction at the same speed, no? So the fire will definitely take the shortest path to go from A to B, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is how we know, if we know at what time, if I start a fire at A, at what time it reaches B, how much time does it take? That time tells me the length of the shortest path to go from A to B, right?
Sir, I think so that there are two paths such that.
There are two paths like this. Okay. What is
No.
the other path?
No, that the fastest path is this, but there are some another paths also that can reach at B, but sometimes later.
Correct. There are many paths. Like there is another path you showed, not 24 minutes. There is a path takes 25 minutes. The fire is coming along all paths simultaneously, right? But then it will come via the fastest path and reach B like as soon as possible, right? And the
Yes, sir.
fastest path happens to be 23 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So by using this, idea of how a fire is spreading in this map, in some sense, you can figure out what is the fastest way to go from A to B, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you figure out? So, for example, when fire spread from A to D, right? D remembers that the fire comes from A, right? Then the fire spread from D to C, right? And C remembers that I caught fire from D, right? So everybody remembers where the fire came from, right?
Sir, but as the fire moves from A to D and from D to that point C, that will not move only to C, that will move from D to E also.
Yes, it will also move from D to E. So E will remember that I caught fire from D. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So A is at fire, and then the fire spreads from A to D at 8 minutes, right? And this is the fastest way for the fire to go from A to D. So D remembers that fire came from A, right?
Yes.
Then another 6 minutes passes, and the fire spreads from D to C, and C remembers that the fire has come from D and not A, right? Right, because the fire from A to C, it will still take 15 minutes, but at 14 minutes itself, C is on fire. Right? Now, another another minute passes, right? 15th minute, the fire also reaches from D, it reaches to E, right? So E also remembers that I caught fire, I got my fire from D.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then some more minutes pass, another 4 minutes perhaps, or another 4 minutes. Yes. In another 4 minutes, the fire reaches from C to F, right? At 19 minutes.
Yeah.
And F now remembers that the fire came to F from C, right? So this is what it remembers here. And then another 4 minutes passes and the fire reaches from F to B. So B knows that the fire came from F. Right? So now we can find out the fastest way to go from A to B by following the fastest path taken by the fire, right? So the fire has gone like this. So from B, I find out that from B, I have to go to F. From F, I have to go to C. From C, I have to go to D, and then from D, I have to go to.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So if somebody is confused, I can explain this more. So do you like if you just imagine, how fire is spreading, do you see that, this is what will happen as the fire spreads slowly, slowly?
Yes, sir. This is what we see, sir.
Okay. So just to, help you understand, let me show you this spread of fire from the very beginning, right? So initially fire was only at A, right? At the start, fire was only at A, right? And then the fire started spreading. Then after 8 minutes, the fire has reached D, right? And the fire is still sort of going towards C, but has not reached yet. It still has some more time to go. Then another 6 minutes pass, and the fire has now reached from D to C, right? And the fire spreading from A to C still has not reached. And the fire is also spreading at the same time in the direction from D to E, and it has almost covered this, right? So another minute passes. Now it is 15 minutes. The fire has reached E from D, right? Then another 2 minutes pass, and the fire has now completely covered the path between C and E, right? Because the fire was spreading in both directions, from C towards E and from E towards C, right? And it has also covered some direction, some of the path from C to F. After 2 more minutes, at 19 minutes, the fire reaches F from C.
So
Yeah.
I think that the fire from E is moving towards 3 directions at a time.
Correct. Right? Because once something was on fire, everything nearby also catches fire and the fire spreads.
Okay.
So the fire is going at the same time in 3 directions.
Yeah.
And then another 4 minutes pass. Well, and the fire finally reaches B, right? At 23 minutes.
Correct.
So this is how the fire is spreading from A to B in 23 minutes. And this 23 minutes is the shortest amount of time it takes to go from A to B. Right? Plus, if we keep track of how the fire is spreading, we can use that information to find out the path that the fire takes from A to B, right? The fastest path from A to B.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, and then after 25 minutes, basically everything is on fire, but I guess this is not so interesting for us. Right? And then using the path of the fire, this is the fastest route. Shall we do one more example? This is the other
Yes, sir.
map that we saw, right? Yeah. So you want to go from A to B, right? Your house to Arun's house. Right? So how will, like, if you start with this fire algorithm, how will it spread? So why don't you guys take 5 minutes to think about it, and then we will discuss. Yeah.
To find the fastest route to B.
No, we know in some way how to find the fastest route from B from A to B, but this time we are trying to understand how fire will spread from A to B.
Okay.
So we have to find fastest route or the fire pass from the which speed or that how the fire pass.
How the fire spreads from A to B. That is what we have to find.
Okay.
Okay. So think about it, and then we will discuss. Okay, so shall we get started? How do we do this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's say the fire starts at A, right? And this is at 0 minutes. Fire is at A. So what happens after 1 minute?
So the fire will spread in the both direction at the same distance.
Right. So a little bit along this direction, a little bit along this direction, right?
Yes.
So what happens, after 5 minutes? Where is the fire?
Then it will reach the train station.
After 5 minutes, sir, after 5 minutes, the fire.
One at a time, please.
So after 5 minutes, the fire is about to reach the train station, and after 5 minutes, that the fire from A to the A to the temple will not cover will cover a more than 1/4 part of this path.
Correct. Everyone understands this?
Understood, right?
Yes.
Sir, within another 5 minutes, the fire should reach the train station because 1 minute already passed earlier.
Correct. So in 1 more minute, the fire will reach. So at 6 minutes,
No, sir.
it will reach train station, right?
Sir, the fire already spread 1 minute before, and then now we said 5 minutes, so it should already be at the station.
Correct. So the fire at time 0, the fire is at A, right?
Yeah.
And to go from A to the train station, it takes 6 minutes. So in 6 minutes, the fire is at the train station.
But
Right?
I'm trying to say that we all in the beginning said that you asked what would happen in 1 minute. Then the boy answered that in both directions it will go equally. Now another 5 minutes have passed.
Yes, sir.
So it should already be at the station, and the other one from A to the temple should also have covered another 5 minutes forward.
Okay. So I'm asking, after fire started A, right? At time 0, right? After the fire started A, and 6 minutes passed after that, right? After the fire starting at A.
Yeah. 6
So
minutes.
then the fire reaches train station, right? At 6 minute time.
Yes.
Correct. And it has also covered a little bit. Sorry. It has covered a little bit in the direction from A to temple, right?
Yes, sir. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes. Okay. So then what happens after another 5 minutes? That is total time 11.
Train station to market fully covered.
After another 5 minutes, the fire from this train station will move towards the market and cover the whole distance.
Sir.
From towards the market
to park, it will
and towards the park, it will cover 1/3 part.
1/3 part. And
after that, from A to temple, it will cover 11 minutes. And we can say that almost half of the part will be covered.
Correct. And you've forgotten one more thing.
Sir, and the
station to temple,
half part will be covered from the train station to the temple.
Correct. Right. So this is the situation at 11 minutes, right? And the fire has reached the market, and it has reached from train station. Let me just write T.
Yes, sir.
Now what happens in say another 2 minutes?
Sir, the market fire will go to the park.
Correct. And where else would it go?
It will also cover a little bit of area to
Then the fire from train station to temple.
And the fire from the train station will extend 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Train station to temple and
the fire from the A to the temple will also extend.
Correct. What else?
And train station to park.
The fire from the
1/3 part to the
B and
hospital.
market to hospital,
Sir, and the fire.
market to temple, and market to school.
Right.
Sir, and the
School
fire
and temple
get reached.
from
The fire get reached. The fire will also move 2 minutes to the temple from the market.
Okay.
and to the
school, sir.
and 2 minutes to the school from the market.
Okay, and
2 minutes
To
to B.
B.
Sir, from 2 minutes to B. Market to B.
correct. Now what happens in another 2 minutes?
Sir, then the fire from the park will reach B,
The
sir.
fire will reach at the B from the park.
Sir.
And
Just right.
and from this in 1 minute the in another 2 minutes the fire will pass through the from the hospital to the 1 minute to the B.
Yes, so let me draw all of this. So in another 2 minutes, the fire has spread from park to B. That is good. So the
Yes, sir.
fire
From
has
the
already reached
market,
from A to B, right? Okay. And then
market to hospital. Whole
Market
reach to the
to
market to hospital
hospital.
and 1 minute ahead towards the B.
Right.
Also 1
And
minute towards the school.
And market from the school, it will
temple.
Increase 2 minutes.
yes, sir.
increase more, 2 minutes more,
Increase towards temple and school both.
2 minutes more, correct. And what about the fire from train station to temple?
Sir, and how
Train
many
station
minutes
to
are
temple, sir, it will also extend 2 minutes, and the fire from the train station to the park will also extend.
Correct.
and how many
Fire from
minutes
A
is
to
the
temple
A
will
to
also
temple?
And it will also move a little bit in this direction, right?
Sir, how many minutes are remaining for the fire to reach the temple from A?
So it is 15 minutes now, right? When the fire has reached B.
15.
So 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes remain, no?
Okay, thanks.
Now, yeah.
So now to find the quickest way to go from A to B, we have to reverse the these markings. Like at B it shows 15 minutes from park, so we have to draw from B to park. Then we have to go reverse.
Correct. So we will use these markings that we stored to backtrack and find the path to A, right? The fire gives us these markings that we need. And then we just simply backtrack using the markings and go back to A, right? And that gives me the A to B path. So B knows that the fire came from the park, right? So it has saved this information, right? So from B, we draw our path towards the park. Then park knows the fire came from the market, right? Market knows the fire came from train station, and train station knows fire came from A. And this tells us the path from A to B, right? And because the fire is spreading at, yeah.
So
Mhm.
I
Go
think
ahead.
that the fire from the train station should reach the temple
Should reach the temple at what time?
this time at this situation.
So
But
I
sir,
think
it's
that it
been only
should.
15 minutes,
1
sir.
minute.
From A to temple, it will be only 3/4.
sorry. Can you repeat?
Sir, from A to temple, the fire cannot reach the temple, sir, because
It has
it's
only 15 minutes. Yes.
So my doubt is that the will fire reach the temple from the train station at this situation?
So
No, just 1 minute.
at what time the fire reaches the train station?
After the 6 minutes.
After 6 minutes, right? And then at 15 minutes, fire reaches B, right? So how much time has passed when
1
fire
minute,
reaches
sir.
B?
1 minute.
No, it is 9 minutes, no?
Yes, sir, but it is left 1 minute to reach the temple.
Correct. So 1 minute is left on this path to reach the temple. Yes. So the fire still has not reached the temple.
Thank you, sir.
So, but 1 more minute passes and the fire has now reached temple. At what time? At 16 minutes.
15 minutes.
16 minutes.
And it has reached from the train station.
Sir, it will
And also from the market.
Sir, also in the market to temple, from market to school, market to hospital, and market to B.
Yes. From market to B, market to hospital, it has already reached because it was 3 minutes. So it will spread a little bit more.
And it will spread little bit from market to school.
From market to school, yes. and also from train station towards park.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so I did not write it for hospital. My mistake. Sorry. I should have written it earlier. So hospital catches fire from the market at 14 minutes.
So just now there are 16 minutes, no?
No. So at 11 minutes, the fire was at the market, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it takes 3 more minutes to go to the hospital. So 14 minutes. I should have written it earlier. I forgot. Sorry. So this already happened at 14 minutes before the fire reached me. I forgot to write this up. Okay.
So my doubt is that the fire, there are 16 minutes that the fire spread from A to that all of the parts.
Okay.
Is there 16 minutes passed?
Yes, 16 minutes has now passed.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let us finish the spread of the fire. No. So 16 minutes has passed and the fire has now reached temple. Then how much more time do you think it will take?
Sir, you did not spread from B to hospital.
Sir, it will take 4 minutes to reach A to temple.
Yes, sir.
4 minutes.
What about, let's say 1 more minute passes? What happens then?
There are 3 minutes left to reach the temple from the A. 3 minutes left to reach the school from the temple. And
Sir, in 1 more minute, hospital's fire will go to school.
yes.
Correct.
Hospital towards schools and hospital towards the B.
Sir, shouldn't the fire in B spread to the hospital?
So fire, you're correct. I did not draw this again. See, there are, yeah. So fire from hospital will also spread. Yes, you're right.
Sir, the fire from the market to the school will also spread little.
Market to school will also spread little. Yes. And train station to park will also spread little.
And sir, the fire from hospital to B point.
Yeah, that will also spread a little. Correct. So I have only drawn a little, so maybe it's not so visible to you. And then right now, what has happened is that you can see that every place has caught fire, right?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
like
sir.
some of the roads are not completely on fire, so it will take some more time and then the fire will reach everywhere. So we can do that calculation also, but so all we wanted to do was understand how much time it takes for the fire to reach all the places, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Specifically, how much time fire takes to go from A to B.
20 minutes.
15 minutes, right?
I think it was 15 minutes.
Right? Because
So
from
it
A,
takes 20 minutes from A to temple, it takes 20 minutes.
no, if you go directly from A to temple, it takes 20 minutes. But if you go from A to train station,
okay.
Train station to temple, it takes 16 minutes.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if you go from A to train station, then train station to market, then market to park, then park to B, then the total time is 15 minutes.
Correct. Yeah, sir.
And that is the amount of time it takes for the fire to spread from A to B.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyone else has any questions or something?
No, sir.
No, sir, no question.
Everyone understands this, no? The time it takes for the
Yes,
fire
sir.
to spread,
Yes,
the
sir.
numbers that are written down.
Yes, sir.
So what is the moral of the story here? That if we have a map and if we can figure out how the fire would spread from one place to all the places, then we can use the spread of the fire to figure out what is the fastest way to go from A to all these places, right? So the fastest way to go from A to B will take 15 minutes as shown by the path taken by the fire, right? The fastest way to go from A to temple will take 16 minutes. To go from A to school will take 17 minutes.
Yeah.
To go from A to hospital will take 14 minutes.
Yes,
So
sir.
by simulating the spread of fire, we can figure out the fastest route, the fastest path from A to any other place, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So, okay, so then, so this is the, the map that we were working with, where we were tracking the flow of fire, the spreading of fire, right? So this map that is drawn, right, it has some places, right? And then it has some direct paths between two places, right? Or this and this. So the kind of things that I do, so this, these places and these paths between them, they form what I call a graph. Okay. So this is a little different from the kind of graphs maybe you do in maths where you are actually drawing some charts and everything. But this is a mathematical object called a graph, right? So every
So,
map essentially is a graph. Yeah.
can we call that point A to temple, A to train station to market, and market to temple? That is forming an quadrilateral.
Yeah, that is forming a quadrilateral. You're correct, right?
Can we say that graph? It is a graph. Can we say?
This is also a graph. Yeah, this is a smaller graph. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So a graph consists of some places, some points, and some paths, like some lines connecting these points. Okay, some direct connection between these points. So you have this full graph, but a portion of it, this quadrilateral, is a smaller graph. Right? This is another smaller graph. This is another smaller graph. Right? This is another smaller graph. Okay. And what we did in this graph is that we tracked how like fire was spreading from A towards all the other places, right? So this thing, if we tracked it, it gave us the shortest path from A to B, or shortest path from A to temple, or A to school, or A to market, A to hospital, all those shortest paths, right? So this is what is called an algorithm.
So can you please repeat the algorithm?
So the algorithm is basically a procedure, a process by which you want to find some answer to some question. For example, what is the shortest path to go from A to B? So you apply this fire spreading procedure, right? You examine how a fire will spread from A towards every place in this graph, right? And that is called an algorithm. So this process of the fire spreading, this can be implemented inside a computer. Okay. So instead of actually setting some things on fire, we just give this map, give this graph to the computer, and then
Means
ask
the
the
track
computer to.
means the track is known as algorithm.
Yes, so the process of finding this track is called an algorithm. Right. So we all did this, no? We started by saying, suppose there is fire at A, right? Then at 6 minutes, the fire will spread to the train station, right? And then in another 5 minutes, it will reach the market, right? And so on and so forth, right? We just did this, no? So this thing that we were all doing by hand, this is an algorithm. Okay. And this
thank you.
process can be implemented inside a computer also, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank
if
you,
you
sir.
implement it inside a computer, then the computer will like automatically, like very fast, it will find out how much like the fastest, like the path from A to B that you needed, the shortest path, right? So where is, let me, so you use Google Maps, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So you will not try to find a path on a map directly, but you search on Google, how do I go from my current location to another place, right? And Google gives you multiple choices. Like you can start from here, your current location, and then go here, or you can go like this, or maybe you go like this, right? There are multiple choices, and it tells you how much time it will take. So Google is also doing something similar, like to this fire spreading thing. So fire is starting from here and then spreading along various paths and reaching here finally, right? And by tracking the flow of fire, like the spread of fire, Google figures out that this is the fastest route to take. Okay, so this is how your maps, Google Maps, for example, can find out the path to take from here to here. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just I'm wondering if I should cover this or not. Perhaps not. Okay, let me just stop here because the other part might become more complicated. Okay. But hopefully what I've like you guys have understood, one way of finding shortest path from one place to another, right?
Yes, sir.
And this process, I mean, we did it by hand, but this process guarantees that you find the shortest path, because earlier you looked at it and you sort of thought maybe this is the shortest path or that is the shortest path, right? But this process is guaranteeing that you will find the shortest path. And you can also prove basically that it will be very fast. Okay, it will only take 1 second to quickly find the answer, even in a very, very large map, in a very large graph. Okay, so that is what I had in this thing, but I think it is already 8:30 and maybe it's good to stop rather than go in all that detail. Right?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of stuff, we like computer scientists or mathematicians, we do. Right? We start with such a problem, like suppose I want to go from here to there. How do I find the shortest path? And I also want to prove that it definitely finds the shortest path and it can do it very, very quickly. Right? That also we can prove. I did not go through that. I did not go through that argument, but that also we can show. Like, because earlier we had an algorithm that find all possible paths from A to B and then compute the time taken by each of those paths and then find the one with the smallest time, right? Which would have taken a lot of time because there are many paths from A to B, right?
Yeah.
But this fire spreading algorithm, this will not do all those computations. This will run much faster and give you the answer very, very quickly, right? And this is what we try to do, come up with some algorithm which is guaranteed to run very fast and guaranteed to give you like the best answer. Okay, if anybody else, have you have any other questions or something was not clear or anything, feel free to ask.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir. I'm clear.
No, sir, I'm clear.
Okay, so then I call on the organizers to take charge of